We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Jonathan. I don't know which Jonathan this is. Anyways, Legacy Audio demoed their Wavelet automatic room correction device. It's $5,000 at AXPONA this year. They claim it is, quote, conceptually and operationally different than anything else, end quote, said everybody about everything they ever made ever, including the second person to invent the wheel. And it uses cloud processing to make corrections to the resonant sound energy as late as 40 milliseconds after the initial sound. It's meant for 2-channel, of course it is, and the setup process is supposed to be fairly simple. Just set the A microphone 4 feet from each speaker's tweeter, and there will be 2 readings taken at each of the 2 microphone positions. The cloud server crunches the numbers, and the result is sent back to the wavelet. Jonathan wants to know why 4 feet from each tweeter, and if those are the only 2 microphone positions, how does it account for the rest of the room in your seating positions? Yeah, this is all kinds of dumb. That was my initial reaction when I read this. This is just audiophile nonsense. Now, what are they doing? They're not doing anything that hasn't been done before. They didn't reinvent this wheel. Like, oh, we're going to do it in the cloud. Yeah, that's because you don't want to put the components in the thing, and they're like, oh, some of these room correction systems you have to have a PhD in spatial dynamics in order to.
Well, if you're doing the Trinov, that is a very involved microphone process with the Trinov.
One system, every other system's like, okay, move the mic. Where? We don't care. Move it again. We don't care. We're done moving it. If you moved it once, you're good. We don't care. Could Odyssey be any easier to set up and use these days? It's so simple. The hardest thing is to get people to believe that pointing the microphone up is the right thing to do. Everybody else believes that you can't point it up. I cannot point it up. I gotta point it at the speakers. Which speaker? They're all playing dummy. All right. So this is supposed to be way easier by having you set it 4 feet from the tweeter, which, come on, it's like, basically a meter, right? We're basically going for a meter away from the tweeter, and then another one on the other side, and it's going to measure the room, and it's going to measure your speaker somehow, and it's going to do some parametric EQ or whatever it does, and it's going to be done.
I'm fairly certain what's going on here is they're taking a direct measurement and a reverberant measurement. That's why it's two measurements. Right?
Yeah, they measure the room and they measure the speaker.
Yeah, they're getting the direct sound first, so it's going to be a gated measurement. It's only going to react within the first, I forget the math, but anyway, it's probably only going down to 250 hertz, and it's just getting the direct sound, and then they're shutting off the mic immediately to make sure they don't capture any of the reflections. And then the second one, they're leaving the microphone on longer to let those reflections come in, and then they're probably comparing the two and making EQ adjustments based on those to try and make the reverberant sound closer to the direct sound. I bet that's what they're doing. Which is why that would be why they're not taking a seated measurement, because they don't care about that. They're just saying, let's try to make the reverberant sound similar to the direct sound, right? I think that's what they're going for, which means it's very similar to what ELAC is doing, so I don't think it's completely unique. But anyway.
No. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. It's not unique, but he said it was substantively different or something. He said it was conceptually and operationally different than anything else, said the person who made it. So clearly he must not be lying. No, it's just high end. It's literally, in probably most ways, I want to say every way, but it's probably not in every way, but it is just inferior to everything Odyssey is doing these days, pretty much. I mean, it's fine. It's gonna do something. It's just not gonna. I mean, is it worth $5,000? No, right. It's not worth $5,000. So, anyways, also AXPONA. I have a hard time saying that. Audioholics covered some of the more exotic speaker designs. Do I have to read all these things? Oh, I guess I do. The Sojourny Acoustics Miracoli is this. These speakers are $24,000 a pair.
Yeah.
Claim 110 dB watt per meter sensitivity, meaning that a single watt can deliver full reference volume in most setups. Jonathan wants to know, what is the point of having that level of sensitivity? We can get a lot of clean watts from modern amplifiers at relatively low cost. So outside of an extremely large room, is there any need for this level of efficiency? Yes. You need it when you have stupid amps that only put out 3 watts because they're tubes and stuff.
3 watts? Dear God, what are you using?
Like a tri,
One watt. 1 watt. That's all we have. The first watt. It's the only watt.
It's the big one. That's the watt that we need. It's not the watt we deserve. It's the watt we need.
3 watts. My God, man. It's overkill.
Some of these high end amplifiers that are designed to the nth degree to eliminate one specific thing, whatever that thing is, supposed to be crosstalk or something like that. They will put out like almost nothing as far as power. So why do you need something that's this efficient? Because you have a stupid amp that you paid.
Yeah, this is an audiophile show, man. There are totally tube amps that maybe they struggle to put out 1 watt. So if that's the amp you're using, then you need speakers like this.
Yeah, and if you're not seeing the picture here, they are just basically horns. And you've seen this type of speaker before. The avant-garde speakers look like this too. They're just these big, massive horns because they can't put out a lot of power. So the horns are absolutely necessary for making that sound. The title Akira, when you know your speakers go when you name it after a Japanese anime from the 80s. The title Akira is $219,000 a pair. $219,000 a pair. Outside of the price tag and their 13-karat diamond 5-inch mid-range drivers. 13 karat. The mid-range, shut up.
The mid-range driver is a 13-karat diamond. It's 5 inches in diameter.
So these guys also drew Jonathan's attention because of how they were raked back. Yeah, not the price, not the diamond, but the rake on the speakers. And you can see this in the picture too. And this is not an unusual design. The tilt seems pretty substantial. So what would be the reason for this design? They'll normally tell you time alignment.
That's the common thing, yeah.
That's normally what they'll tell you if you talk to them. What they're doing is they're putting the drivers, in a physical orientation so that the time alignment of the sound coming to you is adjusted based on the rake. What is the company that does this? It starts with a T all the time. What's it called? I could see the stupid speakers in my head too. I remember listening to them at a high-end place, and I thought they were crap. Anyways, there's a lot. I almost had it. There's a lot of speakers that do this. They have beautiful outriggers. You can see that on here, and it's not that the rake can't have an effect. I mean, it does have an effect. It's not that it can't have a good effect, but I can't imagine that it's necessary in order to get the time alignment that you need on a speaker. So there you go.
Yeah,
Am I going on? Or are you going to say something about those stupid speakers?
No, that's who's buying a $219,000 pair of speakers? So.
Dude, one guy buys that speaker, one or gal. Guy.
If they want to tilt him, they go. You know why they need to be time aligned this way? Because the crossover is going to be like a single inductor. It is.
We're going
something
to
like
sell
this.
those at BS Audio.
There's no way
Best
that they're
sound
going to
audio.
They're not going to put components into their crossover that would ruin the sound. So you can't time align it any other way.
Yeah. The Von Ultra 11 speakers. Schweikert. They're $295,000 a pair.
Yeah.
They are very tall. So he asks if that look is for more headroom. I mean, this is like the biggest. These things, because the Cat speakers look like this too.
Yeah.
There's these massive, massive speakers. If you're gonna spend, over $200,000.
Yeah.
Well, this is almost $300,000 a pair. You want a big ass speaker. And that's what they're going to give you, a big old speaker. And these are kind of like a bowed shape too. They usually are, with the woofers on top of the bottom. It's funny. It's like almost the biggest Doppelio array thing.
It is, yeah.
Again,
it's very symmetrical.
It's very
You could lie
symmetrical.
one on its side and have a center.
You sure could. For $150,000, they will gladly push one over for you.
Wall mounted, because they only
That's
look
right,
to be
yeah, it's
about
wall mounted.
they look like they're about 4 feet deep as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it is for headroom. Good call there,
yeah,
Jonathan.
that's right.
Headroom. I do like that they do have those. Those are acoustical treatments in that picture. Those little round
Sure.
things. They do absorb. They do absorb stuff. They're clearly optionally placed on the front wall, not behind the speakers at all. Not in a corner where they could actually absorb the bass. But whatever, as we go on. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.